Hello, welcome back, and still with me here. On this occasion, I will tell you the storyline of the novel Solo Leveling, chapters 100 to 103, where we will be shown Jin Woo, who saved the Korean S-rank hunter from death, and we will also be shown Jin Woo's great fight against the Ant King. And straight away, without further ado, let's get started. When Hunter Goto Ryuji was about to retreat, he was suddenly surprised by a sudden attack. This attack immediately made Mariyashita lose his head. But happily, Ryuji was still able to withstand the attack. Seeing this incident, Minoru Hoshino shouted for Ishida, but Ryuji said, "This ant is different from the others. I will face it myself. Even though these ants are strong, you will only bother me, Hoshino. Quickly leave and gather with the other teams." Ryuji then looked at the ant in front of him while emitting an aura of strength. Then he said, "Hey ant, your aura is not bad." And the ant answered, "Are you the king?" Hearing that the ant could talk, Ryuji was a little surprised. "Am I the king, you say?" "Yes, you are right, I am the king." Ryuji then pointed his sword at the ant. However, the ant gave off a more terrifying aura of power. It was so scary, Ryuji suddenly felt afraid. Then it was said that the aura of these ants was really terrible. What is this feeling? I seem to have felt it before. Then in an instant, the ant immediately attacked Goto Ryuji, causing his sword to break and his head to fall off his body. Ryuji was defeated by the ant very easily. Switch to Korean Hunter. Even though they were seriously injured, they were still forced to face the ants who had returned to their nest. Then Yunho said, "Mr. Choi, can you increase your attacks?" Choi Jong-in answered, "I can. But if I do that, I can burn up all the oxygen in this place." Yunho started to despair. Unfortunately, everyone was seriously injured. "We can only rely on Choi Jong-in's shot. Does our fate end here?" Because there were so many ants, Choi Jong-in was starting to get overwhelmed. And that's when the ants started to break through towards Yunho and the others. But suddenly, the figure of a black soldier appeared from behind Yunho's shadow and stopped the ants' attack. Of course, Yunho was very surprised. Who was this black soldier? And it turned out to be the shadow soldier Jin Woo, who had been put into the shadow of the Korean hunters. The soldier then signaled to Jin Woo, who was in the city, and Jin Woo began to realize that the situation there was very urgent. So Jin Woo immediately activated the shadow exchange skill to switch places with his shadow. On the one hand, the cameraman is now very panicked when the ants start attacking him. The cameraman was helpless and resigned himself to his death. But to his surprise, the ant that was about to attack him was suddenly pierced by a sword, and it seems to be Igris's sword. Switch to broadcasting headquarters. The employees there suddenly turned off the live broadcast to the public, seeing the helpless condition of the Korean S-rank hunters who were almost dying. Because the broadcast was suddenly cut off, they received complaints from the audience. The head of the broadcasting center said, "How can we broadcast all the hunters being killed live on television? It seems like our fate is over. It's over." Not long after, one of the employees said that a mysterious figure had suddenly appeared on Jeju Island. "Take a look, Chief." And the head of broadcasting immediately looked at the monitor in front of him with an expression of utter disbelief. The head of broadcasting said quickly, "Continue broadcasting. Whatever the conditions, keep showing." Then the head of broadcasting said to himself, "Now Korea's fate depends on him." And next, now Jin Woo has arrived there with his shadow army. Then Jin Woo and his shadow army stood up to challenge the hundreds of ants in front of him. Iron then activated the shout of provocation skill to lure the ants towards him. Long story short, Jin Woo then took out his Demon King dagger and immediately cut down all the ants in front of him. In just one slash, Jin Woo managed to paralyze hundreds of ants. Not only that, Jin Woo's troops also started to advance and beat the ants. Meanwhile, the tusk behind them were now creating a barrier to protect the Korean hunters. Seeing the current situation, Ma Dong-wook didn't understand what was actually happening and said, "Who is fighting now?" Then Yunho answered, "Master Ma, it looks like we don't need to worry anymore, because now everything will be fine." And Jin Woo at this time continued to kill the ants with great ease. Meanwhile, Igris, using his sword technique, continued to finish off the ants in front of him. Iron, with burning enthusiasm, continued to eradicate the ants that attacked him. "Tank even eat these ants." Jin Woo then stood around the ant's corpse and revived it. Then the dead ants were successfully extracted into their shadow power and killed the living ants. On the one hand, the cameraman who saw it got goosebumps. What actually happened? Were the ants resurrected? Why do ants kill each other? Not long after, a report from the broadcasting center was heard. "Oi, are you still alive?" Immediately rebroadcast the situation now. "Currently, one country is watching you." During the fight, Jin Woo then approached the injured hunters. He then took out the potion liquid and gave it to the injured hunter. After drinking the potion, the hunter's wounds immediately recovered. Yunho, who saw his wound recovering, was very confused. Now Jin Woo sees Cha Hyen's condition, who is still unconscious. Then Ma Dong-wook said, "Why isn't Hunter Cha Hyen conscious yet?" Then Jin Woo answered, "It seemed like he was in critical condition," and asked Master Ma to take Cha Hyen away. But before they left, Jin Woo saw an ant that was different from the others. Then the ant said, "There is no king out there. Can anyone be king?" At that time, Yunho was shocked and said, "Damn! If that bastard ant returns here, it means that Goto Ryuji has been defeated." Then Jin Woo stood up and said, "Master Ma, I leave Hunter Cha Hyen to you." After that, Jin Woo then walked over to the ant, and the ant asked Jin Woo, "Are you the king of humans?" Then Jin Woo answered the ant's question. Apparently there was an insect trying to talk to me." Then that's when Jin Woo and the ant looked at each other. Then the ant said, "Oi, human, you give off quite a dangerous aura." Then the ant gave off a very intimidating aura. And that's where Jin Woo answered the ant's words with a smile. "Now you just look like a real insect." Moving on to the community situation 5 minutes earlier. Everyone who watched the live broadcast now was shocked by the sudden stop of the broadcast. The audience began to worry about what was really happening. The television media then conveyed the report they received from the scene. According to reporters from the scene, "We have confirmed that Hunter Min Byung-gu has been killed, and we cannot confirm the safety of other hunters on Jeju Island. And now suddenly a new hunter appears on the scene. We will continue to broadcast it." After it returned to broadcast, the public was immediately shocked by the appearance of Hunter Sung Jin Woo, who was facing a very scary ant. Meanwhile, on the other side, the head of the Japanese Association is now very annoyed with the ant that killed Goto Ryuji. Matsumoto said, "Now where are those damn ants?" Sugimoto then reported that the ants had reappeared in the queen's nest. Matsumoto said, "Huh? And does that mean the Korean hunter is still alive?" Sugimoto answered, "That's right. The chairman and now someone appears who has magical powers beyond reason." Then Matsumoto answered, "Fuck. Turn on live broadcast quickly." On the other hand, Jin Woo's mother calls Jin-ah to help turn on the television. Then Jin-ah asked, "Where is Appa?" Then his mother answered, "Jin Woo said he wanted to go away for a while." And now Jin-ah starts to get suspicious and goes back to her room. When Jin-ah opened her cell phone, she was very surprised to see Jin Woo, who was already in the ant's nest. Even Chairman Go Gun-hee, who saw the incident, was very happy when Hunter Sung Jin Woo arrived. And the story returns to the situation of Jin Woo's battle with the ants. The ant then threw a powerful punch, hitting him right in the head. Moreover, the blow was so powerful that the ground Jin Woo was standing on shattered. The hunters who witnessed the battle felt an extremely terrifying magical power, Yunho said. "Jin Woo just received that terrible attack. Is Jin Woo okay?" And the ant said, "You are weak. It turns out you are not the king either." However, when the dust began to clear, it still stood tall in the same place. And of course, the hunters who saw him were very surprised by Jin Woo's condition, who was completely unharmed. Even the ants were shocked. Jin Woo then attacked back by activating the Dominator's touch skill. With his skill, Jin Woo then pulled the ant until it made it look down. And immediately, Jin Woo immediately launched a powerful punch right at the ant's head. Then the ant was thrown so far that it hit the wall there. The hunters who saw it couldn't believe what had happened. Turning to Ma Dong-wook, and he said, "Mr. Yunho, are you sure that Mr. Jin Woo is a magic-type hunter?" Then Yunho said, "Even I can't believe what I'm seeing right now," even though the ants had been blown very far. But the ant immediately got back up and shot at Jin Woo. Then Jin Woo said to himself, "The ants were tough too. Was it because of the armor? That seems quite annoying." And at that moment, the ant launched a punch right at Jin Woo. But Jin Woo quickly fended him off. Because the attack was so powerful, the ground they were standing on was completely destroyed. Jin Woo then counterattacked. But at the same time, Jin Woo was also hit by the ant. And immediately, they threw punches straight at each other's heads. Their fighting aura produced a powerful wave around him. Even the cameraman filming the incident was almost unconscious, just because he felt the aura pressure caused by their fight. After hitting each other, Jin Woo's punch finally succeeded in making the ant's armor crack slightly. Then the ant said to himself, "It seems I lost the battle of strength. Who exactly is this human?" On the other hand, Jin Woo was ready to throw his punch again, but at the same time, the ant was also about to throw his punch. This means that their two punches collided with each other. A powerful wave was generated, causing them to be thrown at each other. Then the ant said in his heart, That human can destroy my armor, that's impossible. And suddenly Jin Woo was now right in front of the ant and let go of his arms. But the ant didn't want to lose. It quickly released poison from its mouth and scratched Jin Woo's face. Then Jin Woo quickly stepped back and said, "Is this poison?" Then the ants answered, "It was poison obtained from poisonous snails. How unlucky you humans are." Then the ants will launch their attack again against Jin Woo. And what will happen next? Let's continue in the next section.